The thing about Betrayal is that it always starts with a text message at 2:17 a.m. At least mine did. I was hunched over my laptop in our stylish downtown apartment, debugging a particularly nasty piece of malware for a client, when Lena's phone lit up on the coffee table like a neon sign advertising my future humiliation. The notification read, "Cole, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Gavin still doesn't suspect anything, right?" I stared at the screen, my fingers frozen over the keyboard. Gavin Mercer, cybersecurity specialist extraordinaire, defender of digital fortresses, couldn't even secure his own relationship. The irony wasn't lost on me. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name is Gavin Mercer, and I make a living finding things people don't want found. Corporate secrets, security vulnerabilities, digital breadcrumbs that lead to million-dollar thefts. It's funny how good I am at spotting deception in code, but I missed it completely in my own living room. Lena Drayton, my fiancée of 8 months, sat curled up on our leather couch, supposedly editing photos from her latest wedding shoot. Her MacBook Pro glowed in the dim light, casting shadows across her delicate features. She looked innocent enough, with her auburn hair pulled back in a messy bun and her vintage band t-shirt hanging loose over black leggings, but that phone kept lighting up. "Busy night?" I asked, nodding toward her device. She glanced up, startled. "Oh, just client stuff. You know how brides get about their photos." "At 2 in the morning? Destination wedding? Different time zone." She smiled that practiced photographer's smile, the one she used to calm nervous couples. "Why aren't you in bed?" "Bug bounty timeline?" I gestured at my screen, where lines of malicious code scrolled past like digital poetry. "Someone's trying to infiltrate a bank's customer database. Pretty sophisticated stuff." She was already looking back at her laptop, but I caught the way her thumb hovered over her phone's home button. I'd been suspicious for weeks. Little things, mostly. The way she angled her phone away when texting. How she'd started taking calls in the bathroom. The sudden increase in client meetings that ran late into the evening. And Cole Vance, her supposedly harmless ex-boyfriend, who'd been liking every single one of her Instagram posts lately. Cole was everything I wasn't. 6'2", personal trainer, the kind of guy who posted shirtless gym selfies and called women gorgeous in comment sections. He had that entitled swagger that came from never being told no, the kind of confidence that attracted women like Lena and repelled guys like me. When Lena first mentioned that Cole had reached out to reconnect as friends, I'd made a joke about it. "Should I be worried about Captain Protein Shake?" "Don't be ridiculous," she'd laughed, swatting my arm. "He's harmless. Besides, you're the one I'm marrying, remember?" But harmless guys don't text at 2:17 a.m. I waited until she went to the bathroom, then did what any reasonable cybersecurity expert would do. I looked. Her tablet was still logged into her messaging app, and Cole's conversation thread was right there at the top. The messages made my stomach drop through the floor. Cole: "Tomorrow's plan still on? Same hotel?" Lena: "Of course, just need to keep this up until after the wedding. The venue deposit alone is 15 grand. Cole: "You're evil. I love it." Lena: "Gavin's too soft to notice anything. He actually thinks I'm working late." Cole: "Poor bastard. When are you going to tell him?" Lena: "After the honeymoon. Let him pay for everything first." I screenshotted the entire conversation, my hands surprisingly steady. 23 messages dating back 6 weeks. Plans to meet at the Marriott downtown. Jokes about my boring job and nerdy friends. References to the wedding fund we'd been building together. Money I'd contributed from every freelance gig and overtime hour. The bathroom door opened and I was back at my laptop, typing code like nothing had happened. "I'm heading to bed," Lena announced, stretching dramatically. "Don't stay up too late, okay?" "Just finishing up." I didn't look at her. Sweet dreams. After she disappeared into the bedroom, I opened a new encrypted folder on my hard drive and labeled it Evidence. Then I started planning. The next morning, Lena left for what she claimed was a bridal portrait session in Riverside Park. I knew better. The Marriott was 6 blocks from the park, and Cole had texted her the room number at 9:47 a.m. Instead of wallowing, I called Marissa Lane. Marissa was my ex-girlfriend from college, the one who got away because we were both too stubborn to compromise on career paths. She'd chosen journalism. I'd chosen cybersecurity. We'd stayed friends through the years, the kind of friends who could go months without talking and pick up exactly where we left off. Gavin Mercer, she answered on the second ring. This is either very good news or very bad news. Depends on your definition of good. I was sitting in my office downtown, a glass-walled space in a converted warehouse that housed our cybersecurity firm. Remember how you always said Lena was too perfect? Oh, shit. What did she do? I told her everything. The texts, the hotel meetings, the wedding fund comments. Marissa listened without interrupting, which was one of the things I'd always loved about her. She was a reporter. She knew how to gather facts before forming opinions. So, what's your play? She asked when I finished. I'm working on it, but I might need backup. The kind of backup that involves making your cheating fiancé jealous? Maybe. I leaned back in my ergonomic chair, watching my co-workers through the glass walls. Are you free for drinks tonight? I'm always free for revenge drinks. Where? Café Luna, 7 o'clock. Café Luna was Lena's favorite spot, a hipster coffee shop that transformed into a wine bar after 5 p.m. The owner, Marcus, knew everyone's business and wasn't shy about sharing it. If I wanted word to get back to Lena that I was having drinks with my attractive ex-girlfriend, Marcus would make sure it happened. Marissa showed up wearing a red dress that hugged her curves in all the right places and heels that made her almost as tall as me. Her dark hair was styled in loose waves, and she'd done that smoky eye thing that made men forget their own names. Subtle, I said, standing to kiss her cheek. Honey, if we're doing this, we're doing it right. She slid into the booth across from me, her smile wicked. Now, tell me about this Cole character. I showed her his Instagram profile on my phone. Shirtless gym photos, motivational quotes about crushing goals, pictures of expensive cars that probably weren't his. Oh, he's one of those. Marissa rolled her eyes. Let me guess. He calls women baby girl and thinks foreplay is flexing his biceps. That's disturbingly accurate. I've dated the type. She sipped her wine, studying Cole's photos. Guys like this have one weakness: their ego. They can't stand being outsmarted, especially by someone they consider inferior. Which would be me. Which would be you. But here's the thing, Gavin. You're not inferior. You're just different. And different can be dangerous when it's backed by intelligence. We spent 2 hours at Café Luna, laughing and catching up like old times. Marissa told me about her job at the city paper, her disaster dating life, and her theory that all men were either boring or crazy, with no middle ground. Present company excluded, of course, she added with a grin. Of course. Around 9 p.m., Marcus came over to refill our wine glasses. Haven't seen you two together in years, he said with poorly concealed curiosity. How's Lena doing, Gavin? She's busy with work, I replied neutrally. You know how wedding photographers are during peak season. Oh, absolutely. Actually, she was in here yesterday with some guy, tall, muscular. They seemed friendly. Marissa and I exchanged glances. Really? I said. She didn't mention meeting a client here. Maybe it wasn't business. Marcus winked and moved on to the next table. Perfect. By tomorrow morning, half the neighborhood would know that Lena was friendly with some mystery man while her fiancé was having intimate drinks with his gorgeous ex. When I got home that night, Lena was already in bed, supposedly asleep. but I caught the glow of her phone screen under the covers as I brushed my teeth. More late-night texting with Cole, no doubt. I climbed into bed and stared at the ceiling, planning my next move. In cybersecurity, the best attacks are the ones that look like accidents. The target never sees them coming until it's too late. Time to put that philosophy to work in real life. The next few days were a masterclass in psychological warfare. I started small, planting seeds of doubt that would bloom into full-blown paranoia. First, I began working late at the office, texting Lena that I'd grab dinner with the team. The team, of course, was usually just Marissa, who'd taken to stopping by my office around 6 p.m. with takeout containers and war stories from her newspaper job. "Any word from the cheating bride-to-be?" she asked on Thursday, settling into the chair across from my desk with Thai food. "She's getting suspicious. Asked me 3 times yesterday who I was having dinner with." "Good. Let her sweat." My phone buzzed with a text from Lena. "Working late again? This is the 4th night this week." I showed Marissa the message. "What should I say?" "Nothing too detailed. Keep it vague. Cheaters always assume everyone else is cheating too." I typed back. "Big project. Don't wait up." Within minutes, my phone rang. Lena's photo filled the screen, a picture I'd taken of her laughing at some long-forgotten joke. "Hey, babe," I answered. "Who are you really with?" No pleasantries, straight to the accusation. "What do you mean?" "I mean you've been distant lately, coming home late, working weekends. Are you seeing someone else?" The audacity was breathtaking. "Lena, I'm literally at my office. You can come down here if you want proof." "That's not—" "I just miss you. We barely talk anymore. We're talking now. You know what I mean. Real talking. About the wedding, our future, everything." I almost laughed. Our future. The one where she divorced me after draining our joint accounts and probably took half my business in the process. "We'll talk when I get home," I said. "I should be done by 10. "Okay, I love you. Love you too." The lie tasted bitter in my mouth. After I hung up, Marissa shook her head. "She's projecting. Classic cheater behavior." "How do you know so much about this stuff?" "Journalism school covers a lot of psychology. Plus, I dated a serial cheater in my 20s. The patterns are always the same." That weekend, I escalated. Marissa and I went to the farmer's market downtown, a place Lena and I used to visit every Saturday morning. We bought fresh flowers, artisanal bread, and local honey, playing the part of a happy couple browsing the stalls. "This feels weird," Marissa admitted as we walked past the flower vendors. "Like we're performing our old relationship for an audience." "We kind of are." "Are you sure this is what you want? Revenge, I mean. You could just confront her, break up, and move on." I thought about it as we stopped at a booth selling handmade jewelry. "She's not just cheating on me, Marissa. She's planning to scam me. Use me for wedding money, then dump me. That's not heartbreak, that's fraud." Fair point. A familiar voice called my name from across the market. "Gavin, hey!" I turned to see Jennifer Walsh, one of Lena's photographer friends, approaching with her husband. My stomach dropped. This wasn't part of the plan. "Hey, Jennifer," I forced a smile. "How are you?" "Great. I didn't know you were coming to the market today." Her eyes shifted to Marissa with obvious curiosity. "Lena's not with you?" "She's working," I said. "Jennifer, this is my friend Marissa. Marissa, Jennifer." The women shook hands, sizing each other up like prize fighters before a match. "Friend?" Jennifer repeated, her tone making it clear she didn't buy it. "College friend," Marissa clarified with a sweet smile. "We've been catching up." "How nice." Jennifer's phone was already in her hand. "Well, we should let you get back to your catching up." As soon as they walked away, I knew Lena would have the news within the hour. "Think that was enough?" Marissa asked. "More than enough." My phone started ringing before we'd even left the market. Lena was waiting in our apartment when I got home, pacing the living room like a caged animal. Her face was flushed, her hair disheveled, and her hands were shaking with barely contained rage. "Who is she?" she demanded before I'd even closed the door. "Who is who?" "Don't play dumb with me, Gavin. Jennifer saw you at the farmer's market with some woman, holding hands, buying flowers together. Who the hell is she?" I set my keys on the counter, taking my time. "Her name is Marissa. She's an old friend." "Old friend? You buy flowers with old friends?" "Sometimes. Are you sleeping with her?" The question hung in the air between us like a loaded gun. I could have deflected, made a joke, reassured her. Instead, I met her eyes and said, "Are you sleeping with Cole?" Her face went white. "What?" "Cole Vance, your harmless ex-boyfriend, the one who's been texting you at all hours, making hotel reservations, helping you plan how to spend our wedding money." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. I pulled out my phone and opened the screenshots I'd saved. "Same hotel? Check. Keep this up until after the wedding? Check. Gavin's too soft to notice anything? Well, that one didn't age well." Lena sank onto the couch, her hands covering her face. "How long have you known?" "Long enough. I can explain." "Can you? Because these messages seem pretty self-explanatory." I scrolled through them, reading her own words back to her. "Let him pay for everything first. Poor bastard. He actually thinks I'm working late." Which part needs explaining? She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "It's not what it looks like. It looks like you're cheating on me with your ex-boyfriend while planning to use me for wedding money. What part did I get wrong?" I wasn't going to go through with it. The divorce thing, I mean. I was just, I don't know, talking. Talking in a hotel room. "Nothing happened," I laughed, a sound with no humor in it. "Lena, I've seen the credit card statements, the Marriott every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 weeks. Either you're the most dedicated hotel reviewer in the city, or you're lying to my face." She started crying in earnest now, mascara running down her cheeks in black streams. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It just happened, and then it kept happening, and I didn't know how to stop." "You didn't know how to stop texting your ex-boyfriend? It's pretty simple. You just don't do it." I know. But Cole, he makes me feel different, exciting, like I'm still young and desirable." "And I don't?" "You're wonderful, Gavin. You're stable and smart, and you'll be a great husband. But Cole is an unemployed personal trainer who lives in his mother's basement." "He doesn't live in his mother's basement. He lives in the apartment above his mother's garage. I looked him up." Fresh tears spilled down her face. "I love you. I do. I just got confused." "You got confused about whether or not to cheat on me?" "Yes. No, I don't know." She wiped her nose with the back of her hand. "Can we work through this? Go to counseling or something?" I stared at her, this woman I'd planned to marry, and felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no love. Just a cold, empty space where my feelings used to be. "No," I said quietly. "We can't." "Please, Gavin. I'll cut off all contact with Cole. I'll do whatever you want. What I want is for you to pack your things and get out of my apartment." "Our apartment." "My apartment. My name on the lease, remember? You wanted to keep your place as a backup plan. Turns out, that was smart planning." She stood up, wobbling slightly on unsteady legs. "What about the wedding? The deposits, the venue, everything?" "Cancel it. The vendors won't refund the money. That's your problem now." "Gavin, please, don't do this. We can fix this." I walked to the door and opened it. "Goodbye, Lena." She stared at me for a long moment, then grabbed her purse and phone from the coffee table. At the door, she turned back one last time. "I really did love you," she said. "No," I replied, "you really didn't." Word traveled fast in our social circle. By Monday morning, my phone was buzzing with calls and texts from mutual friends, all wanting to know what had happened between Lena and me. Most of them took her side. The first call came from David Chen, my supposed best friend since college. "Dude, what the hell? Lena's telling everyone you cheated on her with some reporter chick. And you believed her? I mean, she seemed pretty upset. Said she caught you buying flowers for another woman, holding hands in public. That's pretty damning evidence. I almost told him the truth right then. About the texts, the hotel meetings, the plan to use me for wedding money. But something stopped me. Maybe it was pride, or maybe it was strategy. In cybersecurity, you never reveal your full knowledge to the enemy until you're ready to strike. Believe whatever you want, David. Come on, man. Just tell me what really happened. What really happened is that Lena and I broke up. The rest is nobody's business. She's family, Gavin. My cousin. I can't just stay neutral here. Family. I'd forgotten that David was Lena's cousin, which explained why he'd introduced us in the first place. It also explained why he was so quick to take her side. Then don't, I said, and hung up. The next call was from Sarah Martinez, another college friend. I can't believe you'd do this to Lena. She's devastated. I'm sure she is. How could you cheat on her 2 months before your wedding, with your ex-girlfriend no less? Did it ever occur to you that maybe Lena isn't telling the whole truth? She showed me the pictures, Gavin. You and that woman at the farmer's market looking very cozy. Pictures can be misleading. So can people, apparently. The third call was from Mike Thompson, who'd been in my wedding party. I'm out, man. I can't stand up for a guy who cheats on his fiancée. That's not who I thought you were. Mike, listen. No, you listen. Lena's a good person. She didn't deserve this. You're right. She didn't deserve what I did. But maybe I didn't deserve what she did either. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Forget it. By the end of the week, I'd lost half my friend group. David, Sarah, Mike, and 3 others had all chosen Lena's version of events over mine. They blocked me on social media, stopped returning my calls, and made it clear that I was persona non grata in their social circle. It hurt more than I'd expected. These were people I'd known for years, shared birthdays and holidays and major life events with. But when it came down to choosing sides, they'd chosen hers without even asking for my side of the story. They'll come around, Marissa said over dinner at a restaurant across town, far from our usual haunts. When the truth comes out, they'll realize they were wrong. Will they? Or will they just double down to avoid admitting they made a mistake? Some of both, probably, but the real friends will come around. What if there are no real friends? She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Then you're better off without them. I wanted to believe her, but it was hard to feel optimistic when my phone had stopped ringing altogether. Even my coworkers were treating me differently, whispering in corners and avoiding eye contact in meetings. Lena had done a thorough job of destroying my reputation, but she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated me. 3 weeks after our breakup, I ran into Cole at the gym. It wasn't an accident. I'd been tracking his social media posts and knew he worked out at Peak Fitness every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. The same days, he used to meet Lena at the hotel. He was doing bicep curls in front of the mirror, admiring his reflection with the kind of narcissistic intensity that made me physically ill. When he saw me approaching, his face split into a smug grin. Well, well, if it isn't Gavin Mercer. He set down his weights and turned to face me. Heard you and Lena called it quits. Sorry, man. That's rough. Is it? Yeah, breakups are always hard, especially when there's cheating involved. He shook his head in mock sympathy. Can't believe you'd step out on a woman like Lena. She's a catch. She certainly caught something. His grin faltered slightly. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just making conversation. I picked up a set of dumbbells, lighter than his, but appropriate for my build. How do you know about the breakup? You and Lena aren't exactly close, are you? We're friends. She called me when it happened, crying her eyes out. Said you'd been seeing your ex behind her back for weeks. And you comforted her? That's what friends do. I started my workout, keeping my voice casual. Funny thing about friends, sometimes they're not what they seem. Meaning? Meaning sometimes the person you trust most is the one screwing you over. Cole's face darkened. You trying to say something about Lena? I'm not trying to say anything. I'm saying it directly. Lena's a liar and a cheat, and anyone who believes her sob story is an idiot. He stepped closer, using his height advantage to intimidate me. You better watch your mouth, buddy. Or what? You'll hit me? In a public gym with security cameras everywhere? I gestured around the room. That would be stupid, even for you. You don't know anything about me. I know more than you think. I set down my weights and pulled out my phone. Want to see something interesting? Before he could respond, I showed him one of the screenshots I'd saved. His own number was clearly visible at the top of the conversation thread, along with his messages to Lena about hotel rooms and wedding money. The color drained from his face. Where did you get this? Does it matter? The question is, what are you going to do about it? He grabbed for my phone, but I was ready for him. I stepped back, keeping the device out of reach. Careful, Cole. Assault charges would look bad on your personal trainer certification. You can't prove anything. Can I? I've got 6 weeks of messages, hotel receipts, and credit card statements, plus a few photos from the hotel security cameras. Amazing what you can get with the right connections. That last part was a bluff, but Cole didn't know that. His face went from pale to green, and sweat beaded on his forehead, despite the air conditioning. What do you want? I want you to tell Lena that your little game is over. No more secret meetings, no more plans to scam innocent men. Find someone else to manipulate. And if I don't? Then I share these screenshots with everyone in your contact list. Your family, your clients, your gym buddies. Everyone gets to see what kind of man you really are. He stared at me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Fine. It's over. Good choice. I turned to leave, then stopped and looked back. Oh, and Cole, if I find out you're still seeing Lena, or if you try to come after me, these screenshots go public immediately. Understood? Understood. I walked out of the gym feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Phase 1 of my revenge was complete. Now it was time for Phase 2. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Lena had been posting constantly on social media since our breakup, painting herself as the victim of a heartless cheater who'd abandoned her for his ex-girlfriend. Her friends and family rallied around her with supportive comments and angry emojis directed at me. But she made a critical error. She agreed to meet me for closure at Cafe Luna. I'd sent her a carefully worded text message, apologizing for the way things ended and asking if we could talk in person. I played the part of the regretful ex-fiancée perfectly, suggesting that maybe we could work things out if we just communicated better. She took the bait immediately. I'll be there at 7, she texted back, but I'm bringing a friend for support. Perfect. The more witnesses, the better. I arrived early and chose a table near the center of the cafe where everyone could see and hear what was about to happen. Marissa was already there, sitting at the bar with her laptop, pretending to work on an article. We'd coordinated our timing to make it look coincidental. Lena walked in at exactly 7 p.m., followed by her friend Jessica, another photographer who'd been particularly vocal in her social media support. They spotted me immediately and approached with the kind of cautious confidence that comes from believing you hold all the cards. Thank you for coming, I said, standing to greet them. I almost didn't. Lena sat down across from me, her posture rigid. After what you put me through, I wasn't sure I wanted to see you again. I understand, and I'm sorry for that. Jessica remained standing, arms crossed. This better not be some kind of ambush, Gavin. It's not an ambush. I just want to clear the air. Lena studied my face, looking for signs of deception. What do you want to say? I took a deep breath, as if gathering courage. I want to apologize for the way I handled things, for not being honest with you, for letting our relationship fall apart. You cheated on me. I spent time with an old friend. You turned it into something it wasn't. I saw the pictures, Gavin. You were holding hands, buying flowers together. That's not friendship. You're right. It wasn't just friendship. I paused, letting the admission hang in the air. But it wasn't cheating either. What's that supposed to mean? I pulled out my phone and set it on the table between us. It means I knew about Cole. Lena's face went white. Jessica frowned, confused. I knew about the hotel meetings, the secret texts, the plan to use me for wedding money. I've known for weeks. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. I swiped to the first screenshot and turned the phone so both women could see it. Cole Vance, Tuesday, March 15th. Same hotel as usual? Room 237 is available. Lena lunged for the phone, but I was faster. I pulled it back and continued reading. Your response? Perfect. Just need to keep Gavin distracted until after the wedding. The venue deposit alone is worth it. The cafe had gone quiet around us. Other patrons were staring openly now, sensing drama. Stop, Lena whispered. March 22nd. Cole asks when you're going to leave me. Your response? After the honeymoon. Let him pay for everything first, then I'll file for divorce and take half his business. Jessica's mouth fell open. Lena, is this true? It's not what it sounds like. March 29th, I continued, my voice carrying across the suddenly silent cafe. Cole says, and I quote, poor bastard has no idea he's being played. Your response, Gavin's too trusting. He actually believes I'm working late when I'm with you. Lena was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks in familiar black streams. Please stop. Why should I stop? You didn't stop when you were destroying my reputation. You didn't stop when you turned my friends against me. You didn't stop when you were planning to steal my money and ruin my life. Marcus, the cafe owner, had appeared at our table. Is everything okay here? Everything's fine, I said calmly. Just having a conversation with my ex-fiancée about honesty in relationships. I stood up and addressed the room, my voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Lena Drayton, wedding photographer and professional con artist. She specializes in seducing men, convincing them to pay for expensive weddings, then divorcing them and taking half their assets. You're insane, Lena sobbed. Am I? Or am I just finally telling the truth? I held up my phone. 6 weeks of evidence, hotel receipts, text messages, credit card statements, all proving that while she was planning our wedding, she was sleeping with her ex-boyfriend and plotting to scam me out of everything I own. The crowd murmured, some pulling out their own phones to record the scene. In the age of social media, public humiliation was a spectator sport. Jessica grabbed Lena's arm. We're leaving. Good idea, I said. But before you go, you should know that Cole dumped her 3 days ago. Apparently, even he has standards. Lena's face crumpled completely. She tried to stand but stumbled, catching herself on the table. Jessica helped steady her, shooting me a look of pure hatred. You're a monster, she spat. No, I replied calmly. I'm just not a victim anymore. They fled the cafe, leaving me standing in the center of the room with dozens of eyes on me. I sat back down, pulled out my laptop, and began typing as if nothing had happened. Within an hour, videos of the confrontation were posted on 3 different social media platforms. By morning, they'd been shared hundreds of times. Lena's reputation as the innocent victim was destroyed, replaced by a new narrative, the cheating con artist who got caught. My phone started ringing with calls from our mutual friends. The same people who'd blocked me weeks earlier were suddenly eager to hear my side of the story. I let them all go to voicemail. The fallout was swift and brutal. Within 48 hours of the cafe confrontation, Lena's photography business was in ruins. 3 brides canceled their contracts, demanding refunds. Her studio partner, worried about the negative publicity, bought out her share of the business at a fraction of its value. The wedding vendors we'd hired were less sympathetic than she'd hoped. Most refused to refund deposits, citing breach of contract clauses. The venue alone cost her $12,000, money she didn't have since Cole had emptied their joint account before disappearing. David Chen called me on Thursday morning, his voice strained with embarrassment. "Gavin, I owe you an apology." "Do you?" "I should have listened to your side before taking hers. I should have known Lena was capable of something like this." "Should you?" "Because you've known her your whole life, and you still believed her lies over my truth." "She's family. I thought I had to support her." "Family doesn't mean blind loyalty, David. It means holding people accountable when they do wrong." "I know that now. Can we try to fix this? Our friendship, I mean?" I thought about it. David had been my best friend for over a decade. We'd been roommates in college, best man at his wedding, godfather to his daughter. But when it mattered most, he'd chosen loyalty to them over our friendship without even asking for my side of the story. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Trust is like cybersecurity. Once it's been breached, you can patch the vulnerabilities, but the system is never quite the same. I understand, but I hope you'll give me a chance to prove I'm worth trusting again." "We'll see." Similar calls came from Sarah, Mike, and the others who'd abandoned me. All apologetic, all claiming they'd been deceived, all hoping to repair the damage. I listened to each one with the same detached politeness I'd shown David. Forgiveness would come eventually, maybe, but it would be earned, not freely given. The most satisfying call came from an unknown number on Friday afternoon. "Is this Gavin Mercer?" The voice was unfamiliar, professional. "Yes. My name is Patricia Vance. I'm Cole's mother." I sat up straighter in my office chair. "What can I do for you, Mrs. Vance?" "I wanted to thank you." "Thank me?" "For opening my eyes about my son. I saw the videos from the cafe and I did some digging of my own. Cole has been running this same scam on women for years. I found evidence of at least 3 other relationships where he convinced women to pay for expensive trips or loan him money, then disappeared." "I'm sorry to hear that." "Don't be sorry. Be proud. You're the first person who fought back instead of just taking it. Cole's been living in my garage apartment rent-free for 2 years, telling me he was between jobs. Now I know what his real job was." "What are you going to do?" "I've already done it. Changed the locks, packed his things, and told him to find somewhere else to live. He's 32 years old. It's time he faced the consequences of his actions." After she hung up, I leaned back in my chair and smiled. Cole was homeless, jobless, and exposed. Lena was broke, friendless, and humiliated. My reputation was restored, and my real friends were slowly coming back. But I wasn't done yet. The wedding would have been this Saturday. Instead of walking down the aisle in the expensive dress she'd charged to our joint credit card, Lena was working as a barista at a coffee shop across town, trying to pay off the debts she'd accumulated. I knew this because Marissa had done some investigative journalism of her own, tracking down Lena's new employment and living situation. She'd moved back in with her parents, who were less than thrilled about the scandal their daughter had caused. "Are you sure about this?" Marissa asked, as we sat in my car outside the coffee shop. "You've already won. She's lost everything." "Not everything," I said, watching through the window as Lena took orders from customers who might recognize her from the viral videos. She still has her victim narrative, still telling people I'm the bad guy who ruined her life. And you want to take that away too? I want to give her one last chance to tell the truth. We walked into the coffee shop together, approaching the counter where Lena stood in a green apron, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked tired, older somehow, like the stress of the past month had aged her years. When she saw me, her face went through a series of emotions: surprise, fear, anger, resignation. "What do you want?" she asked quietly. "2 coffees and a conversation." "I'm working." Take a break. Your manager won't mind. She glanced toward the back office, where a middle-aged man was counting receipts. Fine. 5 minutes. We sat at a corner table, away from the other customers. Lena wrapped her hands around her coffee cup like it was a lifeline. I'm sorry, she said before I could speak, for everything. The cheating, the lies, the money, all of it. Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught? Both, probably. She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. I know you'll never forgive me, but I need you to know that I did love you. Maybe not the way I should have, but in my own screwed-up way. You loved what I could give you. The stability, the wedding fund, the comfortable life. But you didn't love me. You're right. She wiped her nose with a napkin. I convinced myself it was love, but it was really just convenience. You were safe, reliable, predictable, everything Cole wasn't. And now? Now I'm alone, broke, and working minimum wage to pay off debts from a wedding that never happened. Cole's gone, my business is ruined, and my parents barely speak to me. I'd say that's justice, wouldn't you? I studied her face, looking for signs of manipulation or self-pity, but all I saw was genuine remorse and exhaustion. There's one more thing, I said. Her shoulders sagged. What now? I pulled out an envelope and set it on the table between us. Open it. She did, her hands shaking slightly. Inside was a check for $15,000. What is this? Your half of the wedding fund. The money you would have gotten if we'd actually gotten married and then divorced. She stared at the check like it might disappear. I don't understand. I'm not a monster, Lena. I'm not trying to destroy your life completely. I just wanted you to face the consequences of your actions. But why? After everything I did to you? Because holding on to anger is like holding on to poison and expecting the other person to die. I'm done being angry. I'm done letting you control my emotions. This is me moving on. She started crying again, but these tears were different. Grateful, relieved, cleansing. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet. There's a condition. Her face fell. What condition? You post a video on social media telling the truth. All of it. The cheating, the scam, the lies about me. You clear my name completely, and you take full responsibility for what happened. And if I don't? Then you can keep working here for minimum wage until you pay off your debts. Your choice. She looked at the check again, then at me. You really thought this through, didn't you? I'm very thorough. Okay, I'll do it. Good. I stood up, Marissa following suit. Oh, and Lena, don't contact me again, ever. We're done. She nodded, clutching the check to her chest. We're done. As we walked out of the coffee shop, Marissa shook her head in amazement. You really are something else, Gavin Mercer. Good something or bad something? Jury's still out. That evening, Lena posted a 12-minute video on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. She sat in her childhood bedroom, no makeup, hair unwashed, looking directly into the camera as she confessed everything. The affair with Cole, the plan to scam me, the lies she'd told about our breakup. She took full responsibility and publicly apologized to me and everyone else she'd hurt. The video went viral within hours, shared thousands of times with comments ranging from supportive to savage. Some people praised her honesty, others called her a sociopath, but everyone agreed on one thing. I wasn't the villain in this story. My phone exploded with notifications, friend requests, messages of support, apologies from people who'd believed Lena's lies. David called to say he was proud of me for taking the high road. Sarah sent a long text about learning not to judge situations without all the facts, but the message that mattered most came from Marissa. Dinner tomorrow? As friends? Or maybe something more? I smiled and typed back, something more sounds perfect. Bumver. Epilogue. New beginnings. 6 months later, I was sitting in the same cafe where I'd confronted Lena, but this time the atmosphere was completely different. Marissa sat across from me, editing an article on her laptop while I worked on a new security protocol for a major bank. "Any regrets?" she asked, looking up from her screen. "About what?" "The whole revenge thing. Some people might say you went too far." I thought about it. Lena was doing better now, working as an assistant at a different photography studio and slowly rebuilding her life. Cole had moved to another state, supposedly trying to start fresh. My friendships were mostly repaired, though some relationships would never be quite the same. "No regrets," I said finally. She needed to face consequences for her actions. I just made sure those consequences were proportional to the damage she caused. Very philosophical. I'm a philosopher at heart. No, you're a cybersecurity expert with a talent for psychological warfare. That too. My phone buzzed with a text from David. "Dinner Sunday? Sarah and Mike are coming too, like old times." I showed the message to Marissa. "Want to meet my college friends? The ones who abandoned you during your darkest hour?" "The very same." "Sounds fun." I typed back, "We'll be there." As I hit send, I reflected on everything that had happened. The betrayal, the humiliation, the revenge, the reconciliation. It had been the worst and best year of my life, teaching me lessons about trust, friendship, and the difference between justice and vengeance. Lena had tried to play me for a fool, but she'd underestimated one crucial factor. I was very good at my job, and my job was finding hidden threats and neutralizing them before they could cause damage. In the end, the last laugh really did belong to me. But more importantly, I'd learned that the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's building a better life without them. Marissa reached across the table and took my hand. "Penny, for your thoughts?" "Just thinking about how much better coffee tastes when you're not planning someone's downfall." "Much better," she agreed. "Though I have to admit, watching you work was pretty impressive." "Stick around. You haven't seen anything yet." She squeezed my hand and smiled. "I'm not going anywhere." And for the first time in a long time, I believed that someone meant it when they said they'd stay.